Hello, and welcome to another tale recovered from the shelves at the heart of the Jakuls. As always, I'm your dedicated host, Lothran, and now we just have to wrap up this little arc. So let's finish what we started, shall we? Gather up a filling meal, settle into a comfortable spot, and heed all attention toward Thum Part 11, Perspective. Oh, don't be so sad, boy. I was always going to be this way. I will always win in the end. Berle set down the case filled with gold and silver little bars, smiling over his victory. You just bet on the wrong man. Made a mistake or two here and there. We've all done it. Berle pulled out a chair and flopped into it, gesturing for the defeated-looking Darth to begin counting his pay in the exchange. Berle froze as he heard the shifting of feet behind him. A match flared to life as a cigarette fed noxious fumes to its owner behind him. He slowly turned, his smile wiping itself off of his face. "What is this? You know I have witnesses, right? You can't kill me here." Berle stood up angrily, his fist clenched, seething with the rage freshly gushing over his old but still hard limbs. "I have no intent of harming you in any way," Thum replied as he pulled the lid off of a cone set into the nook in the room that Berle had passed but oh so confidently never even glanced at. Thum opened up a box, removing a wax cylinder, and set it into the proper fitting into a different but nearby wooden box. "We can't. There won't be a deal. I'm not going to stop." Berle fell silent for a brief moment, choosing to speak at the most perfect and pristine moment when Thum began hand-cranking his device. "I will kill you. If anyone stands in my way, I'll kill them too. You think this city matters to me? Or this shitstorm you've started up? I would burn every last person to ash if it was all that stood between me and living another day. You're nothing to me. Nothing!" "You think I'm like you, that I need to win, that I need to conquer in order to feel anything at all. My father was like you. What an asshole he was, too," Thum replied, constantly winding the crank at an even pace. "So what's your plan?" Berle asked, looking between the two other men. "No plan," Thum replied, tugging on his cigarette and letting the billowing clouds of smoke coil around his face and neck. "You're not going to do anything?" Berle asked rather incredulously. "You're just going to keep all my gold and silver and use it to keep yourself afloat? Is that it? I'll come at you again. I always win no matter the cost. Those boys were nothing to me. I'll kill 1,000 more over the 300 or so I've already slain. They didn't mean anything. They weren't worth the time I spent slitting their throats." "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Darth shouted from his seat behind Berle, picking up the case of blood money and throwing it at the much older man. Berle caught it, grunting against the force of the impact, but smiling. "Grow the fuck up, kid. You're a disgrace. You think whoever left this place to us, all this stuff no one even knows how to use anymore, you think they never killed anyone? Is that your bright and shiny, naive view of things? Why the silence, huh? Answer me. Are we done?" Berle turned back toward Thum, hurling the question at him as if Thum was in charge of anything. "We've been done for years," Thum replied, continuing to wind the tiny crank with one hand as he thoroughly enjoyed the acrid and sweet smoke of his cigarette, as he so rarely had done in his entire life. Keep your shiny gold and silver. Thum flicked the mostly spent cigarette right in Berle's face, winding away as he went through the fairly awkward process of pulling forth another cigarette to light with one hand. He managed, and he seemed to have a good time doing it. Fuck this! You're a disappointment, Thum. For a little while I thought you were a real man, someone worth fighting, someone worth the effort to ruin from the shadows. But you're nothing, just like everyone else. All the mewling, worthless little folk with their weak, empty hands reaching for handouts. If a wind came and swept them all up today, I wouldn't miss a single one of them. Not my ignorant kids, not my stupid wives, not my loyal men, not the putrid, rotten poor. None of them would bring a tear to my eye. It'd be a relief. Berle only halted his exit as Thum addressed him for what he thought would be the final time. I am someone worth fighting, but not to scum like you. You're the one who's nothing, Berle. The crank came to a stop a few seconds after Thum finished speaking. Berle hauled away his ill-gotten gains, scowling as he exited the building. He noted the large cone that had been set up in the street, with a throng of citizens gathered around to gawk at it vacantly, his guards included. Let's go, we're done here. Why do you still have that? One of the four men asked, pointing at the suitcase. Don't fucking question me. Let's get out of this shithole. But sir, Ethgar's about to do a demonstration. There was a whole spiel about world-changing technology. There's a banner and everything. The guard pointed to a pair of banners. One read, Change the World. The other one read as, A Living Word of History. Berle got a sinking feeling in the pit of his stomach. He gulped as Thum walked across the stage, the other man's shoes seeming to slam upon the wooden structure with the impact of riotous thunder upon Berle's mind. Then Thum handed a wax cylinder to his inventor friend. Berle wasn't even aware of the suitcase slipping out of his hand as he witnessed Ethgar gently place the wax into the same sort of box Thum had been winding in the basement of the butcher shop the meeting had taken place within. One and all, Thum began, gesturing out over the crowd with a flourishing sweep, halting to take a delicate drag of his cigarette. I assure you, I wish I could describe the magnitude of what you are about to witness, but such a marvel is so beyond the realm of the familiar that it is something that must be witnessed to be believed. And so I present to you the very first recording of Jakuls' speech, longer than a few moments, playable now till the very end of time. Thum twisted, throwing himself theatrically toward Ethgar, who began winding a little crank on the little machine next to the very large cone. Berle wanted to run. He wanted to flee. He deeply desired to be anywhere in the worlds but here. His feet just wouldn't move no matter how much his will he put into them. He couldn't believe his ears, his own voice, his own words, rolling off that cylinder right back at him. I will kill you. If anyone stands in my way, I'll kill them too. You think this city matters to me? Or this shitstorm you've started up? I would burn every last person to ash if it was all that stood between me and living another day. You're nothing to me. Nothing! Shouts of distress and disbelief rang up from the crowd. Thum calmed the bubbling froth at the lips of the heating throng to speak a little more. Relax. There's so very much more to hear. This device copies words right from the air. If you doubt it, know that my good friend Ethgar invented it and tested it hundreds of times, not on a conversation as long as this, but hundreds of times. It always repeats exactly what conversation or music that it witnesses, without failure. if a bit of the life of the sound is lost in the transcribing. But fortunately, this was a conversation between Darth, Berle, and I, and if you listen to all of it, and trust me, you very much want to, you'll see how true that is. Berle began to fade through the crowd, his limbs finally finding the access to his energy required to function. Oh wait, that's Berle right there. The entire crowd turned on the aged and weary Supreme Counselor as a single cohesive unit. Berle felt like all the minds and eyes of every last man, woman, and child he'd ever slain on his rise to the top now stared at him with a hateful glee. And so it is, our time together has once more come to its end. Don't fret, I'm sure we'll be seeing Thum again in the future. I hope you enjoyed the tale as much as I, the telling of it. This has been Thum Part 11, Perspective, another tale right from the heart of the Jakuls. And now we must once more part ways. Korvoth, guide them back along the proper path, back to the safety they know all too well.
Yes, sir, Lothran. A pleasant greeting and a fond farewell to each and all. Please leave all your comments, questions, and kindnesses down below. None of that awful, rude, or mean stuff, though. You keep that to yourself. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help us learn, spread, and grow. Don't forget, we strongly implore each and every one of you to do your utmost to stay safe out there. Good night and good luck. You'll need it. See you again tomorrow for the discussion. Bye-bye, everybody.